Hey everybody, it is Brittany, and I'm here to welcome all you scribblers. I'm doing I guess you would say, kind of a quick video. Here recently I've been I don't know I've been extremely art blocked. The creative juices have just not been there here recently, and it kind of sucks. Um, I've been really struggling with trying to create artwork and really get some stuff done, and I've just not I have not been myself here recently, um and it definitely, like and I don't know what it is exactly is holding me back, or if it's just me and I'm just not um I don't want to call it like as creative, because that's not the right wording. Um, if I'm just not feeling it, and I know, it is almost middle of August, and normally I would have this sketchbook nearly half full, and I barely have anything in it. And the thing that is bugging me the most is that I am comparing myself to where I was last year, but last year I was starting to get into the digital and Procreate art. So, and I wasn't really struggling with that. I was learning it. Um, so it has, I feel like in a way it has taken away from my, why does that look way off? Probably is. It definitely is. I feel like it has taken away from my traditional non digital, and it's kind of, I've put my regular art on, or I guess traditional art, on the back burner, and then on top of that, just been I have been extremely stressed out with my job and everything that. So when you're stressed out with your job, you get stressed out in your personal relationships, your friendships, your romantic relationships, and it it sucks because you don't want to see other people suffer, because you're not, what feels like you're not doing your part. And unfortunately, when you're stressed out at work, it does take a high mental toll on you, and it becomes frustrating. And here recently, I have decided to make a change. I had I put in for a position transfer to just another location within the company, and it is going to change my hours drastically, uh, unless something else happens. But the other part of that is that I also got a job interview the Monday, actually, after I'm recording this. And that one, is higher paying, and from what I understand, it's also slightly less hours than what I'm currently working. And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of makes me happy. For the simple fact that, like, I need either a change in environment, I need a change in something. And I think it's because I've just picked up on a lot of toxic behaviors and a lot of toxicity that is trickling down from management. And in my heart of hearts, I can't do it anymore. I am so mentally and physically exhausted that it makes getting up and going to work so hard. And if you are in that cycle or in this position in your own life, please, please, please put your mental health before any job, because your friends, your family, your romantic relationships, be it your spouse, your husband, your wife, whoever does not want to see you struggle, and they want their person back. They don't want to see that negative feelings, and when those negative feelings start to bleed out into other parts of your life, it becomes really, really hard. And unfortunately, like with the toxic work environments, you get depressed, and oh my gosh, it's so hard. And I feel like I'm kind of unloading on you guys a little bit, and honestly, like, if it feels that way, I'm sorry, but I feel comfortable talking. And like with the whole like, if you're not feeling great, you're not gonna go into work feeling 100% yourself, and you don't want to bleed on people who didn't cut you, if that sheds light on the situation. And unfortunately, sometimes taking a step back and understanding where you stand, that helps. And then, but unfortunately, my romantic relationship did not, is no longer happening anymore. I had tried to do what I can to make things work. And unfortunately, I was starting to become resentful of some of the things that were going on. And on top of that, with the work stress and everything that was happening, I didn't want to do anything. Especially when all you are is tired all the time. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of hours worked or anything like that. It is the social construct, the social construct at work. And the only people who are really going to know or understand what I'm talking about are the ones that I work with every day. And honestly, if this video gets back to my employers as far as like where I'm currently positioned at, part of me hopes that they can understand and take a lesson from this, because unfortunately, like, your spirit kind of breaks, and I just want to get and I love some of the people that I work with, I really do, but I'm not going to be a fall guy anymore, for any reason. I am done trying to do with the mental gymnastics. I've tried for the past year to kind of like smush it down, to just let it go. And unfortunately, sometimes you just don't have the energy to be able to smush it down anymore. And that's when the bleeding out into other relationships happen. And therefore, I think that's why part of me feels like my relationship kind of failed, because I couldn't be 100% the person I needed to be, and I couldn't be 100% present in the moment. And that is where my failings become. And I recognize that, but I'm not, and I'm going to take accountability for that. But you can only fill up, so you can't fill up from an empty cup. You can't fill somebody else up from an empty cup. You are just going to drain yourself. And that's what I felt like I was doing, is because I was so drained, and then I was having to try and put forth more of myself into somebody else, that I could not find that energy that was needed. And it sucks so much. And then feeling like I wasn't receiving the same amount of effort that I was putting in, that was also where I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm trying, and it's, but in all honesty, the right person will come along and know exactly how to love you. And that's all I have to say for that. Because honestly, I don't know, towards the end, I don't know what that was. I just don't know. I mean, we were arguing so much, but that's besides the point. And I tried to fix it before, and unfortunately I tried to fix it, but I didn't know he wouldn't communicate on what to fix other than physical, being more physical, more this, more. I don't want to get like, I don't want to call it banned from YouTube, because this is obviously not made for kids, but he wanted me to be more sexual. And mentally, I just couldn't get to that place because I just did not have I had a connection, and then somewhere I didn't have a connection. And when that connection is lost, so is my sexual appetite. And that is very disappointing. And I tried like hell to get it back. I really did. And I just didn't feel like he was applying the same amount of effort, because in my, I don't want to call it in my past, because pretty much every guy that I've dated has either lived with me or I've lived with them. But even when, how should I say it? Like, I had a boyfriend who was then my fiance at one point. When we were in the early stages of dating, I think for like 3 to 6 months, either I was going over to his house or he was coming over to my house. Or apartment, technically, because I rented a room. But still, like, you had that shared, it was, I was going over there for the weekend, or he was coming over to my house for the weekend. And it wasn't like, there was I would say there was a very even amount of give and take when it came to that relationship. And it was like, oh, you're coming over to my house, I'll stop and get dinner. What would you like from here? And then I'll bring it over. And then we'd hang out for the weekend, go to the movies, do all the couple fun stuff, and then we'd part our ways for the week. And then I'd go over to his house for the weekend, and then we'd be like, oh, what do you want to do this weekend? There was an even balance. And I was not getting that. I wasn't getting that, in all honesty. Like, it was just not happening. And that was very, very frustrating, because if I'm going over there every weekend, on the weekends or on the days that I don't work, or the days that I can't, or whatever, then who says you can't come over to my house and hang out for the night or the day, or have dinner at the kitchen table? I don't like that. I like the leaves, but I don't like how they're coming out. I'm right now trying to do a crystal ball with a crystal. I don't know what, like, I kind of have an idea, but I'm not really sure where it's going right now. Maybe I should just do some, I'm trying to figure out what will go. But in a relationship, it's all about giving and taking. And when only one person is giving, and nobody, and the other person is just take. Unfortunately, that person's going to be depleted of everything. And I know for the past 3 weeks, it's just been, all I've wanted to do was sleep. That's how it's been for the past 3 weeks. And yesterday, I called in because it's necessary. Like, I need that downtime, and I honestly also have Monday off too, but I really didn't care. And in all honesty, it's just been rough. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. I want to know if you guys have ever dealt with a toxic work environment and how you handled that, or if you didn't handle it and you just decided to up and quit. I kind of have a funny, I guess it would be kind of a funny story. I was working at another place, and it's relatively local, and they had a supervisor in this one department, and I was in this department, and I don't know what her issue was with me or what, and I think we'll just call her Barb. So I don't remember what her actual name was. She was definitely an older woman. So we'll just call her Barbara. Anyway. Hell, her name could have been like Brenda or something. Anyway. I had worked at this place and the guy who was training me kind of let me in on a secret. And I was running this machine, and he's like, when Barbara comes over to check your product, he's like, feed into whatever she says. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? And he said if she says to, or if she's like, oh, you might need to lower the temperature a little bit to yield a better result, just yield the temperature a little bit. And then when she comes back in 5 minutes, then sit there and be like, oh, how does this look, Barbara? Is this looking a little bit better? And she's like, and if she agrees, then, you're okay. And it didn't matter at all. No matter what I did, she was always highly, highly critical. And I don't know where either I was probably perceiving this as like an attack, and honestly I really don't know, but it got to the point where it was it had gotten kind of rough. The guy who trained me was actually headed out on vacation, and I was told to run 2 machines at one time, and I could barely run the one machine. And mind you, I only had like 3 days of training on the one machine, and now I'm expected to run 2 at the same time. And I honestly, like, I will be honest, I could not do it. So, not that big of a deal. I tried to ask her for some assistance. And she had flat out told me, I don't know why you need my assistance. You should know how to run these machines by now. You had several weeks to know what you were doing. And I was like, okay, so I guess you're not going to help. And she said, no, you should already know how to run the machine. You should also be running both of them. And now I'm like, oh crap. Like, I guess you'd say I kind of pissed her off with that. Made her mad. And I'm like, okay, now I'll run these two machines by myself. Well, in the middle of the week that the guy was gone, I went to go set up the one machine. Or, actually, I think I was doing a material changeover. And so I'd shut down the one machine just so that way I could do this material changeover, and then I was going to power it back up. That was the wrong thing to do. God forbid. And so I had done the material changeover and was feeding it all through and stuff, and I was trying to get them into the right baskets or boxes or whatever. And unfortunately, I was climbing underneath the machine and doing everything that I needed to do and try and get it. And she walks over and she's like, I don't know what you did, but I'm not going to help you fix it. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you're supposed, like, I just kind of was like, you're supposed to be in a leadership position, and you're acting like a spoiled brat. Mind you, this woman is probably well into her 60s. And every team leader or trainer or anything that I've ever had in my past has always been super encouraging, like, hey, this is what you could do to help make it easier, this, that, whatever else. And she was not giving me the tools to succeed. And in all honesty, I don't think she wanted me to succeed for whatever reason. And so that was kind of not fun. But anyway, I was doing that, and then fast forward to, like, I think it was like a week later, I was doing another, I think I was prepping the material. I think that's what I was doing. And as I was prepping the material, I was trying to get this, it was basically like a bench press bar. Like a probably, I want to say about half the size of a bench press bar, onto a cart. And they never outfitted the cart with, like, brakes to keep it from rolling backwards. And so I was trying to get this, I guess you would call it like a rail. I was trying to get this rail up onto this cart that moves, and there's no way to stop it. And this rail had 80 pounds of product, and I was trying to get it on there, and she looks me dead in the eye and tells me, you were in the Army, you can do it. And I'm like, but I need your assistance. I can't lift this 80 pounds by myself. Mind you, I literally just had surgery 6 months prior to this for blowing out my elbows while doing heavy lifting. And when I say like blow it out, like, I don't know if you can see that, but I blew both of them out, like, and she kind of just like laughed and was just like, you'll figure it out. And in all honesty, I don't know what happened to the woman after that. And I was completely okay with really not ever seeing her again. And honestly, I hope that miserable woman is still miserable and retired, because then she gets to sit in her own misery. And I mean that with all disrespect. Anyway, so when I had there, and then I think that was like one of the days where she literally had sent everybody to lunch, and lunch, they tried to rotate lunches. So she had sent everybody to lunch, and and then like managers and stuff were coming around and make sure everybody had their lunches and stuff. And I sat there and I was like, no, I haven't had my lunch. And it was already 1:30 in the afternoon. Everybody else had their lunches between 10:30 and 12. And I didn't get mine until 1:30. And I lived in the town that I had, this was considered work. I lived in the same town. And I ended up going and I ended up just jumping into the vehicle and driving home, and I never went back. And literally it was because of her. It was because of that leadership right there, that she just, it was like she just didn't care. And in all honesty, like, as a leader, you kind of have to care. You actually do have to give a shit about the people that are either underneath you or that are working with you. You absolutely have to give a shit. Because if you don't give a shit, they won't give a shit. And unfortunately, your profits, your product quality, every little thing tends to fall in that oh gosh, it falls into that that trickle down effect. That's what I was looking for. And unfortunately, when that happens, you gotta have happy customers, because happy customers bring you profits. But at the same token, who makes happy customers? Your employees. So technically, your employees have to be happy with what they are doing in order for you to have happy customers. I know this has gotten into like a huge super like let's talk business models. Like, yeah, that's not what I was trying to do, but it helps me vent and let you guys understand what I'm kind of not necessarily going through, just it helps you guys just understand or not even really understand, because I'm pretty sure y'all know know what's going on in the world. But yeah, and then on top of that, like, the world has been absolutely crazy insane, and it is every little thing that is going on in the world has been just accumulating, and some days you just need a break from it all. Like, you just need absolute silence. And unfortunately, like, with the way my brain works, it does not work very well. I mean, it's never silent. Never. Like, even when I'm drawing and coloring and stuff like that, it's never quiet. It's never quiet in this brain. I definitely want to add black to this, but I don't want to just use these colors. Where's my other... I don't know what other... Oh wait, these are... Shit. Wait, these are the water salt. Yeah. Here we go. Like, part of me wants a limited color palette, but the other part of me is like, I don't know what colors I want. Wait, I have those ones over there, too. Shit. Excuse my language. Not really, because you guys already know how I am. I think these are all the random. I still need to get, like, that more lilac. Or is it orchid? No. Maybe. Maybe it is. I don't know. I know there's a color somewhere that they had discontinued, and I think it's the lilac one. Or is it the amethyst? I don't remember. They discontinued a Prismacolor color, and I have it by accident. But it was because I bought it as just a separate color. And yeah. Which, I definitely want white. And I want my black. I probably should do... Okay. I'll do these ones for now. Looks like I got other colors. But I kind of want to do... Ooh, should I do black for this? Like a black and a gray? I don't have gray in these sets. Oh wait, yes I do. It's right here. It's the cool gray. Gonna be all cool. But I am gonna go with a colored pencil because I've been loving the way that the colored pencils look. I think I'm having more fun with layering them and what feels like I'm making new colors with it. Trying to make this video not as super duper long for you guys to watch, but it's gonna come out being kind of super long, just because you guys had to actually watch the sketching process from the beginning. And that's why if you already see the actual sketching process part of it, and then you go into the coloring part, it's why like some of my videos will be not necessarily sped up, but the actual piece of artwork will be already sketched out, so that way you guys don't have to sit through that process. So if you guys enjoy watching that part of the process, please let me know in the comments. The feedback I get from you guys, I absolutely love it. I'm gonna try and do kind of like a mixture between long videos and short videos. I think what I have been trying to do is do this thing with, oh gosh, do like, so I'll do like a longer video, and then I will do also some shorts. So that way, and usually the shorts are going to be probably in the digital format. And that's because Procreate will give me I can like download. Ooh, I really like that blending. That blending is so gorgeous. So the Procreate will give me that that time-lapse video. And that's freaking, I have been loving that. I had actually realized that I had that time-lapse video when I had done the pumpkin, that very first like pumpkin drawing, I think, that's up on my channel. It was like the very first Procreate video or drawing thing that I had made. I freaking love it. And it makes me super hyped, you know? I can't remember what half these colors look like. Like, I've literally looked at these colors like 100,000 times, and I can never remember what they actually look like. And some of these colors are actually not in these packs. They're in... I kind of want to do nectar for that. Is that nectar? Yeah, I accidentally bought two nectar, so I think I have technically like 3 of them, because I think the other pack might have it. I need to get me a new chart, something that's a little bit not necessarily easier to carry around, but yeah. And I've been loving the idea of limited color palettes, especially with like my other, with like the digital drawings. And I'm still learning a lot when it comes to like shading and everything. I just seen this idea to use a different color for, I think they call it like a clipping mask or something. And that will add some depth to the artwork. So I think part of the reason why I haven't really been doing too many sketches in this sketchbook is because I wanted to use this particular sketchbook as a, what is this mahogany red? What does that look like? Do I even have it? Oh my gosh, I haven't even colored that. Well then. I had it all along, and I didn't even color it. I do like that color though. Very pretty color. So yeah, I just filled in one of the charts. Or one of the things. I think I'll just use that as the, yeah. I'll have to tie in like the gray so that way it all blends relatively nicely or something. But as I was saying, I'm really enjoying the limited color palette only because it gives, it doesn't take away from the visual side of things. And yeah, this makes everything just a little bit nicer. I was just watching that movie Yes Man for just a little bit in the background noise while I'm doing this, but it probably didn't even pick up on the thing because I was talking so much earlier. Trying to explain things and trying not to cry. And like, I know when I take accountability for things that I know that I've done wrong, I tend to cry because I realize that in my heart of hearts, I probably had hurt someone, and that's, I don't ever want anybody to experience that hurt because I know I've been hurt myself, and I just don't want anybody to feel hurt, and especially by me. Like, I don't intentionally to go out into the world and hurt someone by my actions or by being like not self-aware of my actions. And honestly, there are some things where it's like, don't get me wrong, like, as a human, you definitely do regret some things that you've probably done wrong. But honestly, going back and trying to change what you did is, it doesn't help anything. It doesn't, you can apologize. You can 110% apologize, but it's not going to change the fact that you had said or what you had done or any of that. So honestly, say it with your chest, bruh. Like, who gives a fuck? Because the whole idea of like the fear of missing out is honestly that's where that stems from. Because like, if you're gonna say something, say it with your chest and mean it, like 110% fucking mean it. Because the only thing that you will have to live with after is the what ifs. Like, What if I didn't say that? What if I didn't do that? What if? And in all honesty, nobody wants to live with the what ifs. It's like, what if I didn't ask that girl out? What if I didn't do this? What if I didn't do that? No, do it. Just fucking do it. And I'm not talking about anything illegal either. But at the same time, you also need to hold yourself accountable for the things that you did or didn't do. But 110%, if I say something, I 110% mean it. Although I need to get out of that part of the phrase, because 100% is all you can give. The whole 110%, that means you're pouring out more than what you're pouring out more. And it's physically impossible. So I got to get out of that saying, or at least I think I had heard that somewhere. Maybe it was a Rooster Teeth podcast that I was listening to, because they said that they absolutely hated that phrase. Someone did, and maybe it was somebody else. I don't know. And I'm like, the way that they had explained it, I'm like, dude, that makes sense. And now I catch myself saying it. And I'm trying to change that thought. So I'm trying to change that little bit of, because, oh my gosh, I do that so much. Yeah, it's the mahogany. I actually do I'm liking how this is working out. I use the nectar, the cool gray, I think it's 30%, no, it's 70% cool gray, and the nectar. And it's turning out really lovely. Kind of reminds me the cat, like a cat stripe. Yeah. I was kind of looking closer towards a wood grain, was the original thought process behind that. And then it kind of just transpired into something different. I guess it can kind of still look wood grainy. But I'll just take the two colors. I'll lay down the flat color, and then I will take the other two colors and blend them together with the flat color. So that way it looks like there's some shading, there's some brighter feel to it. And by the way, it is 7:30 on a Friday night right now. So yeah. And I'm definitely just using ordinary 70 pound sketchbook paper. I can't remember. It's the normal sketchbooks that I always pick up. I think it's by the brand You Create, but I think they had came out with a different style line at Walmart. Ever since I found these sketchbooks, they have been a solid. I used to go for Walmart had a different kind, and it was the one thing that drove me nuts about those particular sketchbooks that I used to get. And it, like, oh my gosh, it drove me absolutely bonkers. It would, after like so many times that you've like erased or you like built up on them, they would start to pill, like as if you used watercolors on it or something, like, and then like it would look, honestly, it wouldn't even look like a sketchbook. It would just look so, in my opinion, it looked so gross. And the texture was weird. Uh, Definitely did not like it after a while. And I was sketching in that sketchbook for a long time. And honestly, like, I might still have some of the old sketches from that sketchbook somewhere around here. But the sketchbook was relatively cheap, and that's why I bought it at the time. And the more that I used it, the more I hated it. And I thought it was a decent sketchbook at the time, but this one I found in, like, if you go into Walmart and you go into like where their Crayola colored pencils and markers and everything, and it's probably like mid shelf, you'll definitely see it. Like, I'm just gonna do this. It's like a little detail. I'm going to sharpen this puppy. But yeah, it was all types of bad. And then I can't remember when I actually had started getting these sketchbooks in particular. I know it's been a while. Actually, I think I had bought one to use it for, I wanted to start bullet journaling in it, and I think that's what it was. And I just didn't like the fact that I didn't have any type of like actually, like, I don't want to call it journaling, but I hated the blank canvas part of it, because then it just, and I wanted a bullet journal that was going to be pretty, and for some odd reason, it would, every time I look at the pretty ones, I just don't find it very functional, and it drives me crazy because that's what I want, is I want it to be pretty and functional, and that's not what I was getting. It was more on the, I'll do it for a couple of weeks and then completely just, I couldn't stick with it, no matter how hard I tried. So right now I'm just kind of doing an outline on these smaller beaded areas with the gray, the cool gray. Perfect. I'm gonna add a little bit of color for blending purposes. But anyway, what was I saying? I hate when like I lose track of thoughts. I totally just lost track of thought. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I just totally like was talking and it literally blanked right in my brain because I had thought about something different. That looks super cute. Super cute. I know it's gonna end up coming back to me, and then I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say." I know it. Now, I can't always do these. Oh yeah, now I remember. Kind of. I had found these when I was bullet journaling, but I wanted to, I wanted the pretty bullet journal, um, and noticed how much time it actually took to do the pretty bullet journal. And I found this type of sketchbook, and then I think I just ended up using it as a regular sketchbook at one point for something else. And I used the they did have a smaller version of it, and it wasn't super tiny, but it was handy. It was a handy dandy notebook. Um, but yeah, so as I was saying, and then I ended up migrating into a loop. I'm gonna butcher the hell out of this, so please don't come after me, Germans. The Leuchtturm, 1917, and it was made super popular by Boho Berry for the original bullet journal OGers. And she went through a lot, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of do know. I have a very face value of what happened, but I don't know anything after that. And so, yeah, I ended up migrating into a completely different journal, and I have stuck with the Leuchtturm or something similar for a very long time now. And now I think I'm working on like year 5 or 6 in that. And then I had also purchased myself here recently a regular planner, and most of it is just cross-referencing what I have. So like the bullet journal itself is mainly for journaling and the journaling aspect in it, and like the tracking of the habits and stuff. But the other one is both it's bills and tracking the videos on when I'm posting and stuff, so that way I can try to cross-reference posts on social media and stuff, so that way I have that presence. Although I just found out that you could kind of now schedule posts on Instagram and a few other places. I thought TikTok might, but I'm not too sure. And I just kind of found out about that whole thing and how to do it just recently, so that kind of helps me out just a little bit. So yeah. And I would like to make more content for you guys as far as just more frequently, because that would be really awesome. And then you guys can hang out and chat with me. Just trying to make sure that the video is still kind of rolling. I don't think this really has much of a way to tell me when it does or doesn't. I just kind of go with the flow. But isn't that what we're all trying to do? Is go with the flow. So yeah, that's okay. I kind of want to do the nectar for the center of the, just so that way I can kind of tie it all together. I can do nectar here on all the little centers. Trying to figure out what I want to do for the petals, so that way I can kind of tie in all of the colors without it being too much, because I kind of want the petals. Thinking I can do probably a light mahogany in here too, just a light shade of the mahogany, just so that way we can obviously tie in all the colors. And then I kind of want to do obviously this is not going to be like super realistic or anything, because what flowers have gray in the center of them? I've never heard of that. Because I want to tie in the petals with the crystals, in hopes that it might help with the limited color palette. I was trying to figure out how to tie these in, because it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be really weird. So just bear with me. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should do it. Wait, lilac is on there. It's amethyst. That is not. That's the one that's not. Yeah. So I think I'll just do this. And then I think what I'll do is I will do that. I have that song that's on TikTok that is stuck in my brain, and it's like that tipsy bartender song, and it's not annoying, but like every fiber of my being wants to learn the line dance to it. Like, I know it sounds super goofy and stuff, but like that's the whole reason why it's stuck in my head. I kind of want to like make it look like it's a prism of light, but also color. Here recently, I've been starting to watch like trying to watch different shows, trying to get my brain out of this funk. But honestly, like, it's not so much me being in a funk as, oh shit, maybe I should have, okay, I did not plan that out at all. Okay, so I might use my white to lighten it all up, because I was not planning on that. I did not realize how bright that was. Till I actually laid down color. But that's the lilac. Amethyst is a little bit darker, so it kind of makes sense. Kind of, sort of. Oh wait, shit, did I mess something up? I might have. But because colored pencil is going over it, I probably won't even notice because it's so, like, light. Or... okay, that's not too bad. Okay, I might need to just add color to the entire thing. Just to... okay, that kind of works. Okay. Cute. Kind of fun. But here recently I've been doing a lot more colored pencil stuff. And I think that's just because I like how the Prismacolors layer. I think it makes it always look really, really pretty. Although right now it's not really picking up the way that I wanted it to. Actually, you know what? Having that one darker side actually is working out kind of well. Because I guess the light is technically hitting it a certain way and stuff like that. So, actually, that kind of worked out perfect. Hell yeah. So just kind of do this. Yeah. I was doing bullet journaling, and I still am doing bullet journaling. It's a combination of my own, I guess you'd say, like, not really my own ideas, but like I've picked up on some things that other creators would do. I really like Joshi Corin. I love how her journals always look. They're really cute. I think she had this, like, was it a bumblebee idea that was super adorable? And then I also watched another girl, and she went to like Planner Con just recently and stuff, but I enjoy watching those goofy little stationary videos of everybody filming their workstation, and you can see everything, and I just love that. But that's just like the person that I am. I've always loved like office supplies for some reason, and just I love to collect that type of stuff. But and even to this day, I have stuff that I should definitely utilize some things. I have a few things that do need to get utilized, and so yeah. Well, that one kind of blends in a little bit more than the others into each other, but it's cute. Granted, it's probably not the best drawing ever, but we're using it. We're working it. We're doing it. Yeah. And I definitely wanted to, like, break it up using the blues. So that's probably something I will do with the flowers. Probably do one each. Like, this blue is dark. I did watch that Barbie movie that came out last year. I think is when it was, and it was a cute movie. Unfortunately, like, my attention span when it comes to movies, I just cannot sit and like watch a movie. I feel like my attention span just is not there enough. And that sucks because I used to love going to the movies, and I used to love enjoying the act of going to the movies, sitting down, watching it, and I don't know where it has came from, but I have just developed this inability to sit through a movie at home, and I just don't feel like I could sit through a movie in the theaters, especially like the one movie that I sat through. I think it was Winter Soldier, the Avengers Civil War movie, and I loved it. I used to love a lot of the Avengers movies. They were really well done. They were action packed. The whole night, everything, like, really good. And I think what ruined it for me was when we were sitting in the theater, me and an ex of mine, we were watching it, and there were these kids behind us that just kept talking and talking and talking throughout the movie. And in all honesty, you just wanted to turn around and tell their parents to just shut them up. Like, and the distraction is what had my brain. I'm like, if I'm gonna pay for a movie, I want people to shut up and actually watch the movie. So that, and like the other part is like, when it comes to movies, I can tend to be a relatively vulnerable person. I if there's a sad scene that's playing out on the screen, I am going to cry. I'm going to cry. 110%. Okay, there I go again, saying it again. And that is, I am a very, I don't want to call it like emotional person. I am not very, I am emotional, don't get me wrong. But I have empathy for things, and I can feel emotion, even if I know that the person is just acting in a movie. The situational awareness is what is like, damn, that is just so freaking heartbreaking. And that's why I can never go to like a movie theater and watch Lion King or anything, because I will be a blubbering mess when Simba dies. Or is it Simba? No, it's not Simba. It's his dad. But I can't remember. Maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah. I become a blubbering mess. And I am not all about being a blubbering mess. So, if you take me to the movies, make sure you bring some tissues. Especially if it's going to be a sad movie. Or something with a lot of heartbreak. And then you better get like a shit ton of popcorn. But honestly, like, I just cannot hold my attention. And I don't want that to like if I was to go on a date or something, I don't want that to take away from the date. Or anything like that. There's a lot of things that I'm going to be looking out for, and a potential partner, probably not anywhere in the near future, only because I gotta get myself in check, especially with possibly changing a job and stuff like that. Like, I gotta get comfortable with certain things before I can even start thinking about other stuff. So that, and I'm just like, this is the first time that I've been single since since May or April. I think it was like April, May of 2021. Is it 2021? Yeah. I feel like that's right, but at the same time, I feel like that's wrong. But yeah, let's see, I had went to that comedy event. I think it was 2021. Because I had went to a comedy event, and it was the Dry Bar Comedy Tour. It had came to the area, and by the way, I had so much fun that night, and that was literally, I did that by myself. Like, there were these 3 older women that were like, oh my god, you're so brave for doing it by yourself. And it's funny because when I was doing stuff alone when I was single, I was getting called brave and adventurous, and like, they admired my courage, and I'm like, if let's put it this way, if I'm not willing to take myself out, who is going to take myself out? Like, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. And that sounds a little kind of like narcissistic, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to heal myself from, like, I don't want to call it like abandonment issues, but like, at the time, me and the one ex that I had, I don't think we were ever more, like, I think there's only one time where we were more than like 100 miles away from each other. And that was when he had taken a Amish family out to Missouri. And that was like years ago. But anyway, like, that I was trying to find a little bit of independence when I was in that relationship. Because I didn't have, like, I did not have, it felt like I did not have any identity other than my partner. And that is such a, it's so hard to try and figure out who you are, because you lost yourself in this relationship. Like, your identity was that other person. And that is such a wild concept. Like, I don't think I'd ever, I don't think I ever really thought about it like that. Like, that one, and I think that's why I was so afraid of being around another person for so much, because I didn't want to lose myself again. And maybe that's what it was. I just didn't want my identity tied to somebody and what they did and who they were. Man, that's such a wild realization that I'm making, like, for myself. But yeah, anyways, I had went to that, and then after that, I think I had spent 2 months actually in kind of like in the dating pool, and honestly, like, at the time, slim fucking pickings. And now I'm not even ready to think about, like, the idea of doing that, because I just don't have the energy for it right now. I don't have the energy to carry on mindless conversations, and it just lead to, oh, what do you like to do in bed? Gross. Not saying that the act of that is gross. It's like, dude, get to know me. Like, actually put forth an effort. And stop using people to fulfill your ego. I think that's where it comes down to. Like, a lot of the guys use sex to fulfill their ego, and I get it. It's nice, but in all honesty, like, the intimate connection that you build on and you can sustain with somebody, that is where that is what is. That's where it's at. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go into this dating world a little bit differently than the last time. Only because like I don't have the energy to engage in mindless chatter and all the other things that exist in that idea. If you know what I mean. Like, so I think I'm definitely obviously taking time off from like just the dating aspect, like getting my mind right. Figuring out what I would like in a partner. Just the little stuff. Because it's freaking crazy out there, and I know for one thing, I want somebody who's going to be very supportive of the art, my art, my social media. Like, I want somebody who's going to be supportive of that. I mean, supportive in the fact that this is a job in the sense. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from. And I want them to take this just as seriously as a actual job. And speaking of job, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Dakota and her lovely business. She had asked me to do some digital artwork for her and her little bakery. Actually, it's developing into like a pretty large operation. Like, she's in it, to say the least. But she had asked me to do a piece of artwork for her, and I was more than happy to do it. And she was really, really happy with how it turned out and everything. Anyway, I had done a piece of artwork for her, and it turned out really, really good. Absolutely enjoyed how it looked. And yeah. So I was really blessed with having that come through. And I don't think I'm going to actually line this. I think I like the way that it looks. So, without further ado, I thank you guys for hanging out and watching and enjoying the time we have. I hope that you guys will continue to create more and worry less. And thank you for joining me. If you want to, you could see more by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe and the notification bell, and you will get to see my videos come up right away. The products that I used was just a pencil, one of these compass things. Pencil, a ruler, and then Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. Although I don't think they really layered very well on the purple flowers, but I didn't really have a large range of colors to work with other than what I did with like the blue. So anyway, I hope to guys see you in the next video, and thank you for following me along, and have a great time out there. Bye guys.